podcast attendees, come join us in the SweetWater Experience tent. We're about to go live with Nock and Nick B of SweetWater Brewing. We're going to talk about all these unique beers you can get in the Experience tent today and what's going on with SweetWater. So, Nick and Nick, thanks so much for joining us, guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers.
So we're sipping some of the beers here today. So the SweetWater Experience tent, a little variation from the typical SweetWater. What's the Experience tent all about?
Well, the Experience tent, the idea behind it is a place where you can come during the festival and basically get a SweetWater beer. But the idea behind it is this is the only place you can get the SweetWater beer. So we've there's some of the beers here that you can get at the brewery, but for the most part, these are just the hard to find SweetWaters.
Hard to find. We've got some limited editions, collaborations that we've done here. We've got some stuff from the Woodlands and that. So you guys ready for 3 tastes of this? We're just on the front end of 420 Fest here. The very beginning, gates just opened recently. Can you guys hang for 3 days?
I started last night.
Oh, 4 days. So that's
he's an overachiever.
He's ready to go already. Absolutely. So even though this is a SweetWater event, a lot of the attendees here are here more for the music, and they aren't really here for the beer. So for those that have maybe only know SweetWater a little bit, probably from the IPA or 420 or hoppier offerings, what's something that may surprise them that they could get here in the Experience tent?
I guess I'll take that one. So we're going to be pushing the Woodlands pretty hard. We got several variants of Cambium, which is our first release out of the Woodlands. Foeder beer, aged on American oak foeders for about a year, and we've been having fun with that beer, just seeing how many ways we can twist it, and that's a good one. We also have these Corsair barrels that are full of different Woodlands beers. One has a Berliner, which is not technically a Woodlands beer, but interesting nonetheless, little tart. And yeah, we're just gonna be over here, and if you get some time between music and the regular beers out there, you wanna try something new, get blown away, come check us out.
So Nick, you mentioned foeders, and us beer geeks all know what those are, but for the folks here that may have not experienced a foeder beer, what exactly is that?
Okay, so a foeder is basically a tank that's made of wood instead of stainless steel. It's about the same size as like a normal, it would be more like a bright tank, I guess. But so what we do in the foeders is we impart a little bit of oak flavor, but more so we want to kind of corral our bacteria and wild yeast sort of in the wood, and once we get that good funk in the wood, then we'll just be continuously just topping off, throw a beer in there and taking it out. It's going to get more and more complex, more interesting,
so kind of a sustainable flavor colony, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean,
that's the one good thing about wood that not a lot of people think about. It's not really just for the wood character. It's also to corral the microbes because of the porous.
So that sounds like that's kind of the benefit versus you get the volume of fermenting in stainless tanks, but you get the, I guess, ecosystem harboring of wood to keep your culture going right there, right? So I've heard some of these cultures, some barrels in other areas, they're hundreds of years old, some of them. They keep topping them off and putting new beers in. So if you maintain it right, you can use this for a long, long time.
Absolutely,
correct?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Awesome. Now, Nick, you did a lot of collaborations. Nick Nock, a lot of collaborations for this, and I'm sipping one right now. We had a little miscommunication before the interview. We were going to have Paul for Bearded Iris on here, but instead we have the awesome Nick B with us to talk. So we're good to go, but we're sipping the beer you made with Paul with Bearded Iris.
Yeah.
It's called MMV.
MMV
so is this 2005? Is that the MMV?
MMV is actually really cool. Paul gave birth to his son 4 days before he came down and brewed the beer with us. And his son is named Magnus. I'm not sure about his middle name, but it starts with an M and last name Vaughn.
Okay.
So there's the MMV is named after his 4-day-old son.
Awesome. That's great. Now the beer
Magnus is a pretty cool name too.
Yeah,
right.
Magnus.
It is
For real.
Magnus Vaughn. You'd never mess with him, would you? So,
He's already a star. I mean, he has to go to Hollywood.
Yes. So the beer is an Italian Pilsner, which is is something I'm not really familiar with, Nick. What exactly is an Italian Pilsner?
I wasn't too familiar with it either. It's something that Paul came up with, and before he had his son, he traveled for a bit. And my guess, I know he went to Europe, so my guess was he probably spent some time in Italy and had some Pilsners. And basically what I could get out of it was just a very light, refreshing, crisp, yet hoppy Pilsner. So that's what we were going after. And we played with a hop called Styrian Wolf, which we've never played with before. It's a German hop, so along the noble sense, you know, Italian kind of. So it was cool, doing a beer that we've never done, playing with hops that we've never played with before, and I think it came out pretty good. What do you think?
I think it's great. I've enjoyed it. It's got, you know, you have that crispness and palate refreshing taste of a Pilsner, but it's got the typical SweetWater. SweetWater has a character. You know a SweetWater hoppy beer when you drink it. So it's got the nice hop profile.
It's from the stainless fermenters. We kind of like what Nick was saying with the foeder. We don't clean them. So it just makes it's like a barbecue grill. You know, you never clean the grill. You just
Cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
It's seasoned.
It's like
a
a
seasoned stainless tanks.
It's kind of like a coffee cup in the military where they never clean it out. The darker it gets, the higher prestige it is. I don't know about flavor, but
now, Nick, outside of the brewers, you actually did a couple of other cool collabs with people that may not normally get to do collaboration brews. So you did one with, I believe, Crosby Hop Farms.
Did one with Crosby. That's the one I'm drinking right now. Crosby is a hop.
Can I have some of your beer, Nick? Can I drink some of that one?
Sure. You want some herpes?
Yes, thanks. More herpes.
So Crosby, we've been working with them for years, and they're a great bunch of people to work with, and they're getting bigger and bigger, much like SweetWater. And so it's great to grow together. And one of the things that they're doing is they're now procuring New Zealand hops. So these are 3 different this beer has 3 different New Zealand hops, and it's really juicy. What do you think? You like it?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's got Raku, Wakita. I'm not sure if Wakita is right, but it's something like that. And then Southern Cross.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's really good. This is I had this for the first time yesterday, and I had a glass, and I walked away, and I walked maybe 50 feet, and I was just like, man, I need another one. Like, I had to turn around and get another one. It's just like, sticks to you.
You said you had this for the first time yesterday. You guys did a lot of collabs and stuff for this. And do you ever have a beer that once it hits the taps, you never get to try it? You make it, but there's just too much going on to try?
I'd like to say no.
Yeah.
But it may have happened.
Probably.
I try not to make that happen.
Gotcha. Awesome. Now, and did a collaboration with one of your maltsters too, correct?
We did, Riverbend. So we wanted to showcase the malt on that, obviously, because they're providing the malt, and we just wanted to showcase their quality malts. So we did a double brown, which, as you know, browns are not very, I mean, they could be, but they're not really hop forward. So basically we used their Munich, their rye, and their 2-row. And I think it came out really nice. We did add some brown malt to it just to make it a brown. So it's got some roasty, some chocolate character to it, but the rye really comes out nice and spicy.
Browns aren't too hoppy until SweetWater.
That's right.
We've done the hash brown. Yeah, we've done a couple of them.
Exactly. Yeah, when you started talking about hoppy browns or thinking about hoppy browns, I'm like, oh, SweetWater. Yeah.
SweetWater.
Yeah, we dry hop the stout. How many people dry hop stouts?
Crazy. So on the malts, Nick, there's not been a lot of attention paid other than looking at what the exact malt is. Hey, this is 2-row, this is pale and that. And I'm seeing more people explore with kind of the origin, the terroir of the malts, and looking at specialty maltsters, craft maltsters and that. Do you think we're going to see more people paying more attention to those
Definitely.
limited and specialty malts?
The Riverbend, for example, I believe they're 5, maybe 6 years old now. We've worked with them in the past, and we're watching them grow. They're in Asheville, so they are playing with a couple of the big boys up there. I was just down, saw you at Arches, and I was talking to Justin, the brewer there, and they're playing with it. So the malt is getting around, and you know, just the craft malt, you know, they take care of it. You know, it's hands-on. So
I was talking to those guys at Arches Brewing, and it's not like starting a small craft brewery. You know, especially in Georgia, here our laws change. You can open and serve from your brewery now, so some smaller guys can open, but even to do small batches of malt, you need a lot of space to do that. So it's hard to have, you know, a craft or, you know, boutique kind of maltster there. So
definitely, it's probably an easy thing to screw up too. So you really got to be on top of it.
Yeah. So Nick D, I want to talk some about this candy and that. And Brian, I know you're a fan as well. So Cambium is one of the beers we talked about that was aged, that you had as a bottle release. It was previewed in the Woodlands in the bar there and made it out to a bottle release. Fantastic wild ale, just really good. And something I was excited to see on the beer list today is you have some fruited variants of the Cambium. So tell us about those. What do we got there?
So we got a tangerine version, we have a mango version, and we have a passion fruit version. And it was just kind of, just wanted to show the versatility of that beer. And I mean, we've actually used it for blending at the brewery. We've made variants of it. So it's really a utility beer. We use it for a lot of different things. But it really just came about. It was our first real kind of go at a mixed fermentation on a large scale in the brewery, and just completely worked out in our favor. And so I think we're gonna probably try and look at replicating it as best we can through blending and just basically doing the same thing we did before. But from there, I can see it. I can see one of these variants, making it to the forefront. But it's also our base beer, the Woodlands. So, Cherry Pit and Pendulum, Through the Brambles is about to come out, all the same base beer.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's the base off of those, right? So that Cherry Pit Pendulum is fantastic.
It's wonderful.
That's Through the Brambles was as well. So.
Yeah. Brambles round 2 is about to hit here pretty soon. It's pretty exciting. Turned out great this year. We did a little bit differently. This one came out of American Oak Foeder, and last year we just had white wine barrels, and we actually fruited the barrels last year. So it was a little bit nicer having a larger volume and not have to take
small
strain
batches
out all those blackberries.
So I got a taste of that passion fruit Cambium just before this. That's really good. Is that something we're likely to possibly see at some point in bottles, maybe? Or maybe just on the tap room, maybe?
Yeah, I like changing it up. I like having variety over there and playing around with different fruits and stuff. Ultimately, I guess we'll see how it goes here. If people are liking it, we kill those kegs, then I guess there'll be more of that.
There's the band more will come out, right?
Yeah, the Woodlands is a great breeding ground. So come to the Woodlands, taste the beer, drink the beer. If you like it and it goes quick, then that's telling us, hey, maybe we need to pack some more.
Speaking of that, drinking this is relatively new, Nick. Your Hatchery at the SweetWater Brewery, to where you do. Was it going last year at 420 Fest? How long's the Hatchery been?
The Hatchery is pushing 2 years.
Okay.
We got it 2 Mays ago. We got it.
Okay, so with the Hatchery, you have a small batch brew house, you have small batch fermenters, so there's some stuff that makes it out into the tap room that people may not see in the market, and occasionally they graduate to a release, right?
Exactly, yeah. So we got it 2 years ago. So basically we were pushing 20 years old at SweetWater. And we started out with a 25-barrel brew house, then a 50-barrel brew house, then a 400-barrel brew house, and then we got a 5-barrel brew house.
That makes sense.
We went backwards.
The reverse pilot system plan there.
But the cool thing about the Hatchery is that's where the brewers get to play. So whenever there's some free time, which is few and far between, but they will put together a recipe and they will come and they will brew the beer that they like. And then from there, it will go to the bar as part of the Hatchery series. And if, once again, like the Woodlands, if people come and enjoy the beer and they say, man, I really wish I could get this outside the place, then there's a good chance that it's going to make it to the big guy. And once it goes to the big guy, it's going to go be part of the Hatchery series, and it's going to go into our tackle box. And we do that roughly about 4 times a year.
And I know I've tried, there was a chocolate milk stout that came out that...
We did a chocolate milk stout. As a matter of fact, that is going to the World Beer Championship. And hopefully it comes down with a medal in about 2 weeks.
Awesome. Excellent.
Well, that reminds me of something. I was thinking the other night. You said brewers playing on that system. If you were making a beer just for yourself, or just something fun to drink alone, and I was thinking, because we have a lot of people that homebrew and listen, like if you were to do a smash, a single malt, single hop beer, just to consume privately for the heck of it, whether it be for experimentation or just because you have an idea in mind, what would that be? Do you have a thought on that?
Not really. I'd say if I had to do it, it would probably be a single malt's a tough one, but it was
You can cheat. I'll allow it.
I would probably do a really hoppy wheat, and with that, I would go, I don't know, I like Amarillo a lot, maybe Centennial.
Centennial and Amarillo?
All wheat and Amarillo. That's what he's growing up there.
I actually want to try that.
Yeah,
I want you to do that so I can try it.
Exactly. So, well, Nick B, one more question for you that we haven't discussed here. Something that's kind of new over the last year with the Woodlands is the Woodlands Circle. And we've been talking about that a good deal on the Beer Guys radio show. We actually gave away a membership to the Woodlands Circle this week.
Some guy in South Dakota?
Some guy, it wasn't, but we did get South Dakota work. We have listeners in South Dakota now. So
That's awesome.
But the Circle Beer Club, what's that about, Nick?
All right, so the Circle Beer, like the Woodlands is already a completely kind of experimental, side of SweetWater. So this is like even more so. So what I'm doing is getting, barrels that are, hard to come by, expensive, wouldn't be feasible on a larger scale, and just to kind of experiment, see, how that wood takes to those beers. Basically just do things we couldn't really do on a larger scale, and just have, some off-the-wall stuff. The first one was like a double barrel Imperial Stout, cognac, and bourbon barrels.
So I have a question about it. That's probably my favorite of the releases so far.
It's been
the
pretty
number
popular,
one.
yeah.
And the flavors were Imperial Stout with chocolate, tangerine, lactose,
vanilla, and
vanilla. So was that by chance conceived at last year's 420 Fest? Because it seems like a little 420 action might have been involved with those flavors there.
I mean, possibly, you never know. I was actually kind of going for one of those like chocolate oranges.
Chocolate orange, right.
That you get, which I think we got it on the aroma. The thing was just so boozy. It's hard to get past that, but
and
it was also complex.
We opened one recently, and I see all those flavors. I'm like, this sounds crazy, but they come together extremely well. It's very nice.
Yeah. So outside of that, did a tequila barrel aged goza, which was one of my more favorite ones.
Also mine.
Very, it's pretty straightforward for the stuff I'm doing in the club,
right?
Because other things like. The one after that was like supposed to be kind of a blackberry mint julep. Sort of a blackberry base, bourbon, sherry pungents, and added mint and lime.
In there, right?
Mint and lime, yeah. So, yeah, it's basically just kind of a barrel circus. A lot of like clubs like that tend to stick to, one sort of variety, but I think I'm doing like, 2 or 3, like 3 or 4 different types of wood in this series, so, and just kind of seeing what what's good, and what's still need to work on.
Right, and these are really small batch. I think I saw all of them are running at or under like 600 bottles total on these releases.
It's extremely low. It's like usually 2 barrels, like actual full-size barrels, around 3.5 like beer barrels. So it's super small. I mean, we're hoping to grow it, but right now it's fine. Just being like a small little thing that we do have fun with, and we're gonna keep doing that. And, hopefully it'll gain some traction, and we'll kind of narrow it down too to find our style. Like what we want to really put out more than others. But right now, I just kind of want to run the gambit and just try everything at first, and just see what sticks, and go from there.
Go check it out. So if you're in Atlanta, Georgia, and you want to check out the Woodlands, you have a tap room connected right to the OG SweetWater Brewery there down at the other end, and a total different experience as far as the tap rooms go. So we were talking about those fooders earlier. If you want to see them, go to the Woodlands. Lined up there, and you can try all these unique beers we've been talking about.
Yeah, that's true. Some of them we have here today, and then we have some that we didn't bring that are Woodlands only. Then we have these here too. So
awesome.
I always thought it's fun when you go there on certain tours on certain days where we've actually gotten to taste some of the beer in the fooders a little bit, and that's always a lot of fun.
That's always fun.
Try it right from the barrel.
Guys like you coming through. Yeah, I mean, a lot of industry people coming through want to check it out. So, I mean, it's a beautiful space. Gorgeous fooders. We also have a huge cooperage of barrels too, so it's really interesting. We have a lot of variety there, a lot of tools to play with. So
very cool. So guys, I'm going to ask a question here that Nick B, I think I know your answer already, but what act are you looking forward to most here at 420 Fest this weekend?
Oh, is that not already obvious? Is that
It kind of is. We know
Humphreys
you.
McGee?
this little band called Humphreys McGee?
All right.
Looking for us. You know.
Nick Nock, how about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm across the board. I'm happy. I've never seen Sturgill. I'm going to see what all the hype's about and see if he can live up to it. I'm sure he will. I saw String Cheese last night, so I'm expecting another good show tonight. Tedeschi and Trucks, that's always going to be a good time. All Freeze will be a great time. Wolfpack, I mean, they're all going to be good.
All good stuff. You know, we heard String Cheese doing a little sound check earlier, man. They're rocking that sound check big time.
A really elaborate sound check, like multiple song sound check.
Yeah,
Never heard anything like it.
Nick, anything else you want folks to know about SweetWater or the Woodlands here?
Happy 420 Fest.
Happy 420. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your festival.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
We're Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt. We're with Beer Guys Radio. We've been talking to Nick Nock and Nick Burgoyne of SweetWater Brewing, talking about the Experience tent, Brian, and all these amazing beers available in here. So if you're at the festival, come over, check it out, try some unique SweetWater beers.